You read all the books, you listened to all the podcasts, and you watched a lot of YouTube videos. But still, you feel life is not changing. You're still suffering on a daily basis. You're still not living the life that you truly want. Why is that? In this video, I will go deeper into why that is and how to change that, because that is the most important thing. You cannot create the life that you truly desire by just reading books, listening to podcasts, and watching YouTube videos all day. Believe me, that was me in the beginning of my own journey of spiritual growth, personal development, just getting to know myself. That is what I did. I read book after book, book after book. I watched video after video. And later on, I even discovered podcasts. So I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to this podcast and listen to that podcast. But my life was still the same. I was still suffering. I was still frustrated. And nothing really changed, except I acquired a lot of knowledge. Why is that? Well, it's a known fact that we all have an ego. I think it's important to explain how I see the ego, and I hope that it will help you to gain some clarity around this much discussed topic, but I don't think that it's quite clear. It wasn't clear to me in the beginning. The ego is simply this physical vessel that we have that is limited by the constraints of this physical world, because you're not just this body. You are not the body. You're just a soul living inside of a body. And the ego is your physical experience, your physical vessel in this life experience. That means that your ego is limited, and it is only aware of the things that you have taught it. That means your ego is kind of like a persona that you've created in this life experience, with the beliefs, with the fears, with the expectations, all of that. And the ego likes to stay the same. What I mean by that is you have learned the ego to continue and to live in a certain way. You have certain beliefs about life. You have certain beliefs about yourself. You have certain beliefs about how life is supposed to work and what is attainable and what isn't. And most of that, I would say almost all of that, is based on a limited level of awareness. What I mean by that is when you were younger, you didn't know better. You looked at the people around you, for example, your parents or other people that you engaged with a lot, and they had a certain type of life. And what we as humans naturally do is that we want to be like the ones around us, because that is what we're familiar with, that is what we see. So we consider that what we see to be the only possibility, the only option. And our ego is built around that. It's just what it has learned from you through experiences of life, through what you went through, through what you observed. And that is how you see life. That is how the ego sees life. So the ego is just a part of you created to live in this physical experience. That's all it is. But because it's limited and it doesn't see what's more available, what is more to life, it will keep you inside the boundaries that you have created based on your beliefs and your experiences. So where that ties in with reading is that when you read a lot of books and you watch a lot of YouTube videos and you listen to all the beautiful podcasts about personal growth and spirituality, what we do is we consume a lot of information. And the ego likes that. The ego likes to consume the information because that's safe, because it doesn't mean that it has to change. The ego also likes to keep you in a familiar position. So for example, if you believe that, for example, it is very difficult to earn a lot of money. For example, say that you think 20K per month is a lot of money and you're used to earning 5K a month. The ego is familiar with the situation of earning 5K a month, and it will do its best for you to stay in that familiar box, you could say, of earning 5K a month. And then you have the thought about maybe it's possible for me to earn 20K, it will agree with you to learn about what it could be like and what you have to do and all those things. You know, you read about it, you read about the possibilities, you look at other people who have done it, and that's where the ego still feels safe. So, what it will do is it will give you the illusion that you are becoming someone else, becoming the one that can earn 20K, but at the same time, it will try to keep you in the range of the familiar. In this instance, the 5K. And that is something that happens subconsciously on a very subtle level. The way the ego works is that it will keep you learning, wanting more, but it will at the same time, because of the programming that the ego has from you, from past experiences, in the background, it will have you thinking thoughts that no, it's not possible for me to earn that. So you read the books, but you do not take action on anything that you read, on anything that you hear, because it's too unfamiliar. And you know that they say your thoughts create your reality. Well, not all thoughts are equal. And the thoughts that truly create your reality are the thoughts that you continuously think and that have the biggest amount of emotion behind it. So the thoughts that you continuously think are thoughts that are, like you could say, on automatic pilot. You think those thoughts without even thinking about thinking those thoughts. It's just automatic. It's just a thought that is always in the background of your whole life, your whole existence. For example, 20K is difficult. It's not for me. It's difficult to earn 20K. That is a thought, just a thought. But that thought lives in your subconscious mind because you have thought it so many times that it has become a belief. Because a belief is simply a thought you continue to think and continue to reinforce. So, for the ego to stay safe and to stay alive, it gives you the illusion that you are progressing because you're gaining a lot of information, you're reading a lot, you're listening to a lot of podcasts and videos. So you have a feeling that you're changing and something is changing and maybe it's possible for you to grow your income. But the subconscious mind, the thoughts that are in the subconscious, will never have you eventually really take the action that is necessary for you to create the higher income, because it's out of the box that you've created for the ego. And the ego likes to give you an illusion that you're growing, and that's what it does. It presents you with all these books and all this information because it knows that if you just keep learning and keep learning, at least you'll be satisfied for that moment, because of course the ego likes to know stuff, because knowing stuff doesn't change the ego. It keeps the ego alive. The ego stays safe because it knows you won't take action on the things that you learn. But the shift happens when you know this. When you know that the ego just wants to keep you alive because you've created it. And it wants to say exactly the way that you created it. You created it inside a box, and it has all the beliefs and all the emotions that you gave it through past experiences and past emotions and observations. The ego likes it like that. It doesn't like change at all, especially not big changes. So it gives you the illusion that you're progressing because you're learning and reading so much, and it will keep you in that illusion until you become aware that that is one of the mechanisms of the ego to keep you exactly where you are. Because as humans, we like to at least feel like we're progressing. And when you're reading a lot, you actually feel like you're progressing because you are reading a lot, you're gaining a lot of knowledge, and that really, growth is just innate to us. So when you read a lot and you acquire knowledge, you feel good, and you really have this sense of, oh yes, I'm growing, I'm progressing. And that is what we're supposed to do as humans. We are supposed to evolve, we are supposed to grow. But the ego likes that until a certain point. and gives you the illusion, yes, you're growing, but I will keep you inside a certain boundary. And that boundary means that the ego that you created in a space of fears, growing up, and limitations, I'll give you the illusion of growing and expanding, but I want to keep you in this box. So I'll give you everything that you want to acquire knowledge and to grow intellectually, but you will not take the action steps that are needed because that would mean that I have to change. And the ego doesn't want to change because that's too much work, it costs too much energy. And if you have like new beliefs, that means that your ego won't be needed anymore because your ego has his or her own set of beliefs. So that is why the ego keeps us trapped in this illusion of continuous learning, continuous gaining information, but will prevent us from taking the steps. And the steps to really change your life all comes down to your level of awareness. Because now that I've shared this, now you know that, oh, I've been reading all these books, but I've been not taking the action that I'm supposed to take. For example, when you read a book and they say, start a meditation practice because that will clear your mind and you'll get to know yourself. A lot of people, including me, in the beginning, I was like, I'm not going to meditate. I'm too busy to meditate. My mind is too restless to meditate. I'm not going to do it. And of course, nothing changes then because you're still the same person with that same ego, just reading another book, but you're not implementing it. So that's the reason why a lot of us stay stuck in the same life. We read a lot, we acquire a lot of knowledge, but because of the mechanism of the ego to keep you inside the same box, you will not actually take the steps to implement what you've been reading or what you've been listening to. So to change your life, not only read the books, but actually implement what they are suggesting. That is an important lesson to know on the way to creating the life of your dreams. Start doing the things that the books suggest. And of course, it's important that you have the right books that will help you to elevate to the kind of life that you want and to elevate to the person that you were always made to be. If this content resonates with you, if it's in any way helpful, be sure to let me know in the comments. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for being here with me.